Well, hello everybody and welcome to the next round of the League Zero Super Formula Championship here from Mugello. Really homing in on the end of our season now. We've done away with the flyaway races. We're on the European leg of the season to end off here the final 6 rounds. This is the third of those final 6 rounds in Europe to round out the season here at Mugello. 10 laps and for the sprint race and 30 for the feature race. A little bit later on, it's myself, Ewan, and Team Biggles with you for tonight's racing action. Hopefully you can hear me okay, because I can't hear Biggles very well, but hopefully we'll get through it and it will sort itself out as we go on tonight. We won't have any problems, but yeah, it's Mugello, a lot more of a tight and technical circuit, it must be said, than last week at Spa, and perhaps a much less known one across the world as well.
Yeah, I can hear you okay. You might not be able to hear me okay. We're having a little bit of technical issues, but it certainly is one of those tracks. And let's take a geezer at the standings currently at the moment. There you go.
This is how we stand going in. Adam Merchant has started to pull away from Noddy ML in the last few weeks. For 46 points, if I get my words out, is the gap now. Merchant has gained points on each of the last 4 weeks in a row. And that's giving him the lead that he currently holds over Noddy ML. Jaden Callaway then is third, and Philly Fitzsimmons moved up to fourth with his second win of the season last week at Spa. Elliot Court has dropped to fifth, ahead of Fabian Sanchez, who wasn't there last week. Did was Antonio Bianchi. I don't think Shashi Zahir was there either, but anyway, lost a place. Gabriel Hopp moved up after a couple of top fives, and AJ Brenner rounded out the top 10 after the previous round of the championship. So that's how we're looking. 46 points at the moment between Merchant and ML. Don't forget though, Merchant scored 48 2 weeks ago when we visited Manicourt, so that gap could very much come down quickly, but Noddy ML has got to turn around this form, and unfortunately he's not going to do it while he's not here. It does seem that he might be taking the week off this week, and maybe has been frustrated with the way the last few weeks has been going, and that's maybe why he has decided not to turn up here tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointment, of course, because we'd like to see how we'll be turning it around, of course, after starting off the season quite strongly. Remember, he had 5 wins next to his name there with the 1 pole there, but you can see just that consistency a little bit there out of the top 5s and the top 9s, well, top 10s actually at the moment. That's where Mr. Adam Merchant is Mr. Consistent.
I think, yeah, it's hard to know really for Noddy, because didn't message anything in the chat, which might be to say that he's done with the season, but maybe he's just got other commitments tonight. This is the schedule, as I say, 4 rounds to go, including this one. That graphic there suggests that the races will be shorter than what the website says. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen tonight? Hopefully the amount of laps and the amount of fuel is going to be lined up, because you remember the Fuji round from the middle of July? It was only 4 weeks ago now. Feels like a lifetime ago as far as this season's concerned. So much happens since then. But the cars were not fueled for the amount of race that there was, and hopefully that won't be a problem tonight, but a little bit of a difference there between those 2 graphics. Anyway, we're here at Mugello anyway. The next 3 weeks will be Barcelona, Zandvoort and Monza as we round out the season. Unfortunately, looking increasingly likely that we don't have a championship finale, but let's wait and see. And it's increasingly likely that this man is going to lose his reigning champion status as well from the last 2 seasons in a row. He's won 3 of the last 4, Jaden Callaway, including the last 2 in a row, but this is looking more and more difficult for him now to overturn what is an 80-point deficit to Adam Merchant out front.
Going to be a lot, but all you can do, you got to be in it to win it, as they say, and well, try to make sure that he can keep Mr. Adam Merchant behind him as far back as possible will be the key. But first of all, got to put it on pole. And at the moment, Fitzsimmons, or Fitzy, is the man to beat. And by 2/10 up as Callaway crosses the line. Let's see if he'll improve on his lap. Not quite sure. But yes, he will. And on top of it, we'll stay with him for another lap there, Ewan. Give us a guide around here, Mugello.
Let's hope he goes the whole way through. 3rd gear out of turn number 1, a very steeply uphill acceleration zone. You see he's got the car really nicely hooked up actually through this first chicane. So many of these chicanes, by the way, about just getting the run out of the corner. So watch how he minimises that first bit to open out the wide and the right-hander there. Now through the faster part, the faster chicanes. These are where you just let the car flow a little bit more, really, through 6 and 7. And now through the 2 Arabiatas as well, at 8 and 9. Just kissing the apex on the right-hand side, but doing nothing particularly aggressive, just smooth actions with the car. And then again, looking for the exit out turn 11. Watch how he pulls to the right here, looking for a late-ish apex on the way down this next straight, where there's going to be plenty of gravel on the circuit. There it is. And they towards turn 12. Somewhat double apexed in some cars, but just keeping it tight here in the Super Formula. And worrying about that exit that is brings him onto that flat-out chicane. And now the final corner itself. Looking for a late apex here as well through turn 15, and a car just a bit wide out front as well. So Callaway's going to get a nice toe to the line, which is very good news for him. Here we go. Maybe he's even going to put this pole position even further out of sight in the final half a minute of the session. He goes over the line and does improve. So he'll say a big thank you to whoever that was in front of him there, giving the slipstream, and Jaden Callaway will take pole, you would think, at the end of this session.
Yeah, that's an absolutely blistering pace there too. Almost 4/10 up at the moment on this man that's got to get a banker lap in at the moment. Not necessarily up, as you can see in the first and second sector, and having a spin actually on the exit because qualifying is done. Didn't get across the line in time.
No, not quite. And that's the end of that. The session draws to a close. And all 20 drivers who took part in that race, the qualifying session, will indeed take part in the race as well. Nobody practiced and didn't qualify, which is good. Jaden Callaway then takes the pole ahead of Billy Fitzsimmons, with Elliot Court and Adam Merchant on row 2. It's Fabian Sanchez and Frankie Brzezowski then on row 3 ahead of James Turnbull, the final driver, within a second of pole. Elliot Rolls was alongside him, with Julian Madore and John Stumbros running up the top 10. Guillermo Perez was ahead of Shazi Zuhair on row 6. Gareth McAllister and Anthony Zeitzen on row 7, ahead of Antonio Bianchi and Nicholas Isidro. Xavier Senave and Arturo Mayorga row 9, ahead of Jace Meyer and Aaron Gosler, who round out the top 20, the 20 drivers in this field here tonight, with an All-American final row. And everybody qualified as well, which is a good thing. The run down towards turn 1 is quite a long one though at Mugello, and it's a very important one as well. Big hairpin stop, and it's going to be crucial to the early part of this race to see who wins that race to turn 1.
That's going to be the key, and getting it is going to be very, very important in our first of our heat races this evening. We're waiting for a few more drivers to line up at the moment. We may have some new graphics for you out there this evening. There, if a little flag flag comes up next to the name, there could have a black flag. They could have a yellow flag. Yellow flag will indicate that it'll be a slowdown. Indicate it to the driver. That'll be a disconnection flag. Hopefully nobody will see one of those. And a meatball flag. I'm quite sure we could get meatball flags too. You might be able to elaborate to everybody what all that would mean to you.
Yeah. Well, not the kind of meatball you really want around this part of the world. It'd be quite. Normally, it's a good thing, but not on the racetrack. Certainly, we'll get a view as that if it befalls anybody. You'd imagine it will somebody, given the racing we've seen so far this season. But you never know. As the League Zero Super Formula Series sets to get underway here from Mugello. 10 laps here for this opening race of the day, underway here from Tuscany, and we run now down towards turn number 1. Callaway with a great start, 3 wide in the background meantime. Courtney Merchant 2 wide, second and third position for those two as they battle into the corner. That's close. Merchant nearly makes contact with Courtney, and I think there was a small touch as they come now into turn 2. Courtney's going to steam through the middle, and he'll try and keep that second place, and he will do just about. Brzezowski, really big slide for Brzezowski. He goes wide, and so Sanchez gets back up to 4th place ahead of Brzezowski and Fitzsimmons as well. In fact, it might be Fitzsimmons who got a really big loose moment actually and go backwards, but everybody pretty much gets through cleanly these opening few corners.
Yeah, lovely to see at the moment, but you could see Adam Merchant's wanting to put some massive pressure at the moment on the back there of Elliot Court in that P2 position. Doesn't want to let Callaway get too far up the road, which is currently starting to build a little bit of a game. But there's your gainers and losses at the moment currently on lap 1.
Fitzsimmons backwards, or going backwards I should say, didn't spin. He was the one who got a little bit loose, by the way. I mistakenly said Brzezowski, but he was the one who got just a little bit loose on that occasion. Through the S's section now, through 13-14, the Biondetti corners. Now towards that final turn. Everybody within a second of everybody apart from Callaway, who is racing away. Look at that, ahead at the front of the field. Now down the straight for the first time. Who's used push to pass already on this opening lap, and who's saved it up? Because if you've used it already, it will still be recharging, and in that cool down period, before this long run down the front straight. And look who's on the bottom there in the background. Oh, let's down the inside there from Merchant, who comes through on Elliott Court. I'm not sure if he actually was on the button at all or whether he just used the old-fashioned slipstream, but he's side by side now through the first sector. Caught on the inside for turn 3. Will try and edge the championship rival out, and he does successfully. And Merchant, ever so briefly, gets to second, has to give it up very quickly.
Good fighting back, isn't it? You thought exactly, briefly for a second there. Elliott Court says, all right, you're going to have to try a little bit harder than that. Fabian Sanchez, his teammate, is right behind him, catching up. These two battling once again, bringing away Callaway. A massive lead there, almost 3 seconds, as JT SF1 out there says Jaden Callaway is his mum, and he's also the GOAT. Your mum's a GOAT?
Those two things, I guess. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Not an unreasonable opinion to hold. Jaden Callaway is, though, leading this race by some distance. If he's going to turn around this remarkable championship advantage that Adam Merchant has, then he's going to have to win a lot. And this kind of performance is going to have to become customary in the final 4 weeks of the season. 2 trips to Italy, a trip to Barcelona and a trip to Zandvoort as well. And he's going to have to win at least one of the races, I would say, at all of those rounds if he's going to turn that margin around. But you just never know. Fitzsimmons there, very close to Brzezowski, by the way, as they come onto the front straight, as Antonio Bianchi tries to make his way through the field. He's going to get past Strumbrad quite easily, but look at this for Fitzsimmons. He's already past Brzezowski. He's on the button. Brzezowski cannot use it. He's on the cool down. Meantime, Merchant gets through a lot more easily this time on Elliott Court, who's down to third and might be fourth, as Fabian Sanchez tries to follow his teammate through. Still side by side they go now through the chicane. This is going to allow Merchant to get away with second place very easily now, as these two fight side by side around the outside for Sanchez, and he does get third, but it's going to be brief. Oh, and the rocks all over the road as well. Look at that. A very wide moment there for Brzezowski, who lets Fitzsimmons through. He didn't have a choice because of the stones that were all over the road.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned that before, didn't you, about exactly how they've come into play there, or that kitty litter kicked up. So that's the Sanchez up currently at the moment, 2 positions to P3. But look at that, Elliott Court dropping back here at the moment. He's going to have to fight this one back. Fitzsimmons up into P4.
And Elliott Court is going to have another run on the outside. Does not go for it on this occasion. Can't go for it in towards the right-hander. Now comes out of that corner and into this next straight section. As they come through now. Oh dear, a little off track for Zeitch and McAllister. McAllister has to tow back to pit lane. So maybe the first incident of the day has now befallen those guys towards the back end of the pack. Who's on the button here? At the very back end of the group, looks like Turnbull is on the button, just behind Brzezowski, who's going to get past Court anyway. Turnbull's not quite close enough anyway, and now he's taking it off because he's not close enough. He's not going to make the overtake. Might as well take the button off because he's only going to get stuck behind these two. Elliott Court stays in 5th. Brzezowski can try and come back, but no. And there is Turnbull. Now he's right there with them. These guys fighting, of course, for the reverse grid pole.
Yeah, just wondering at the moment, some of those drivers are just waiting to use that a little bit later on, or early in this race, and some of them are saving up there. Elliott Court, Frankie's putting some pressure massively at the moment on Elliott Court. He's a couple of places down at the moment. But has Elliott just saved that push to pass into the last remaining laps of this race? Because he's been under attack, hasn't he, dropping a couple of places there for the 23 grid.
Yeah, well, I have found the information on push to pass on the live timing, but it's absolutely incomprehensible.
Yes, it is.
So, I don't know what that's all about, but anyway, it's a series of numbers. They don't relate to seconds. They must relate to something, but not seconds.
Not even
so,
seconds, hundreds of seconds or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
It must be the amount of thousandths of a second of push to pass they have left, or something like that. It might even be tens of thousands or something, but it's a ridiculous number. Anyway, Elliott Court, meantime, is going to use that to just defend at the moment. What it can tell you, I suppose, is that the drivers who barely have used any at all, and that's Jaden Callaway at the moment, but that's not a surprise. It doesn't really need to use any, I suppose, at this time in the race. He's probably going to put it on for the last 3 minutes of the race and just burn it all in one go. But these guys are going to be a bit more smart with it. Brzezowski here is going to get into the slipstream of Elliott Court again on the way towards turn 1, but he's not close enough this time. He feints to the inside. Oh, and he has a look. Very close again, but no contact, thankfully, and perhaps more importantly, no move made for Frankie Brzezowski, who is still on the outside looking in of this top 5.
What's interesting too, looking at Frankie's helmet, he's driving under the American flag, but that's an Aussie flag. That's on his helmet there, and he's got the 81, which is facing us on the helmet as well too. So that's interesting to see what Frankie is. It's sort of like a helmet in honour of Oscar Piastri. That's Piastri? I don't know.
Does he drive with 81?
No, not with the number 81, but because that's Elliot Court's number. But the helmet's looking very similar to livery. So let us know in the chat if you are aware of that.
I don't know. I hadn't picked that up, to be honest with you. But yeah, the two difference in flags there. Sometimes in iRacing you get to people registering where they currently live, and that's what flag turns up on our screens, where actually, because obviously that's where they made the iRacing account from, whatever country they're in at the time. But sometimes they're not always from that country. I know from another series, a Frenchman who's raced under the Australian flag, but it's obviously French. So, but anyway, it's a bit of a minefield. Anyway, we'll go with it for the moment. As Jason Meyer gets unstuck through the Biondetti chicane and loses a place, at least one, to Javier Seneve, the only Frenchman in the race this week. Been abandoned by his compatriots down towards turn number 1. Zazki again not close enough. He did go on the button that time, but it wasn't close enough.
So did Elliot Corbett too. Used a little bit of it to go defensive, as you'd imagine, as well too. So Elliot Corbett saying, I don't want to drop any more places. I've already dropped 2, so currently at the moment in a heat race. You're not getting past me, Frankie. And Frankie would turn around and say, I'm going to say relax, because Frankie says relax. You wouldn't read the
What's
reference.
That reference
to song.
to?
I can't give you song references. I forgot about that, Ewan. Anyway, I can give you a reference that Callaway is leading this race by 4 seconds.
I do understand sim racing. I don't really understand pop culture. So there we go. I'm sure that somebody else will get it. And that's what's important. Just over halfway through actually already as well. This first race ticking by very, very quickly. This is Saji Zuhair, who has won a race this season, of course, in the League Zero Super Formula Championship. Just the one race, coming at Fuji in that dramatic finish, of course, where lots of the top contenders ran out of fuel at the end. Zuhair was able to save fuel and monitor that fuel all the way through the day, and come through on the final lap to take the race victory. It's a remarkable race, and so far his only win in the series this season to date. Meantime, there's Callaway, continues to run at the front of the field, and a new fastest lap last time round. Just under 4 laps to go, and there is 4 laps to go, I should say. And he's dominating here. This is exactly the start to his evening that he needed.
Yeah, he wants to get out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, as they say. Just about out of sight currently at the moment there from Adam Merchant, who he doesn't want to see in his mirrors, of course, because Adam Merchant is the one that he needs to target in the championship, and he just needs to distance himself as much as possible. But it doesn't look like, he's putting fastest laps in that he will be able to handle that one. But what's going to be fun on that reverse grid is how they're going to be starting side by side, and who wants to take the corner in first into turn 1, who wants to have the lead by turn 1. Okay, 2 slowdowns at the moment. It's not appearing on there. Sorry to cut you off there. Okay. So Saji gets a slowdown at the moment for exploring track limits, as well as Xavier. There you go. Stop not sure.
No, okay. I was going to say, I'm going to try and keep an eye on it. We're testing a few things out with our live timing here today. Seeing if we can see a few things. We've already got one of our answers. As I mentioned earlier, we've pushed to pass, and the answer is an emphatic no. So there we go. Hopefully we can get 1 out of 2. Anyway, into the final corner, on board with Elliot Rolls, who is from the United Kingdom, as you can see, but more flag talk, as you can see the helmet, very distinctive flag of Scotland that you can see on the bottom part of your screen there. No push to pass used on the way down the hill this time round. And again, we're getting to the stage of the race now where he might put it on and leave it on for the rest of the race. A big defence in front from Turnbull. Oh, he's been distracted almost by Rolls, who was only really lurking in the background. I don't even think he was attempting to make a move there, but he was just weaving, was Turnbull, and perhaps overly aggressively defending really into turn 1.
Should definitely throw you a little bit of a whoopsie moment there to try to adjust. It looks like we had somebody else too. It looks like Bianchi's gone off the track as well too completely, so not sure what's happened here. We'll have to look at the replay actually real quickly of what's happened. That's wide, isn't it? Yeah.
On the power.
Oh! Contact.
Oh, wow! Who was that? Somebody clipped him and has got front left damage themselves now. Yeah. But that's 3 meatballs, sadly. Bianchi, McAllister, Zeitz. There's no fast repairs in this series, by the way. So you'll see the guys stay in for the sprint race, although you won't see them re-emerge more than likely with the amount of damage they have. You will, though, see them back in the feature race, but in the feature race, generally, they do quit once they have a crash because the damage is too big. It was Paré who hit him, and he's clearly got damage.
Yeah, let's have a look at the replay here. That's just struggling to keep down the track at the moment. In fact, just moving off there, just knowing, hey, you guys are going to go through because I'm going airborne. Like a roller coaster at the moment in a Super Formula.
Yeah, it was a bumpy ride, unfortunately, and he's dropped all the way down outside the points now from race number 1 tonight. Shame for him, but there you have it. That's how we will finish this race. Time limit, by the way, on this one is just about 15 minutes, so it's actually quite tight tonight for that time limit in the first race. But Callaway is going to get all the laps in. He's going to finish with about a minute or two to spare. And as you can see, he's on the button already here. So he must have used basically no push to pass on the way in here. And now he's on the button again. He will keep it on to the very end of the race now, but he's just draining it now. And he will to just keep it on the road and take this first race victory of the day.
That's exactly what he needed to do. Put the car on pole, get a good clean lap 1 out there, build the lead, and Bob's your uncle.
Absolutely. There goes Callaway over the line. Torome Olga, the latest to get a meatball. White flag waves. And another fastest lap from Callaway. Unsurprising, perhaps, as he leads. There you go. He's actually got 1 minute 40 remaining, so he's going to end this race with about 20-30 seconds of the push to pass remaining here. But that'll be okay. He'll just look to scale it and use it a bit better in race number 2, maybe, if he's in a similar situation. Brzezowski and Court go side by side, meantime, for 5th place. Brzezowski trying to get that pole position away from Court. Side by side through turn 1. Goes into 2. Off and round the outside for Elliot Court. He's got it. He's not on the button yet, but Brzezowski is putting a lot of pressure on him here. He's not going to be able to use it for the rest of the lap, but he wants to use it early. Down the inside he goes. Oh, that was tight. Very tight as they fight for the second race pole position.
Brilliant racing. Thanks for catching that one out as well too. Anyone that missed some of the action, of course, in the dying stages of this one. Sanchez and Fitzsimmons as well too. A nice little battle brewing between those two drivers for that final 3rd place position here. Quite sure there's going to be enough, isn't there, between them there. But we'll have to switch over to Callaway as he'll be coming around the final sweeping bend now to finish and win our first heat race.
Yep, indeed he will. The end of 10 laps at Mugello for Jaden Callaway, and domination as well. He crosses the line, emphatically wins here in the first race of the evening, and he takes the fastest lap of the race to go with it as well. Fitzsimmons just runs out of push to pass to challenge Sanchez, and Brzezowski just loses out to Elliot Court, who also times it a little bit better. He was really on the limit there on the last lap. I actually think he ran out of push to pass quite early, but Brzezowski couldn't capitalise, and it was a good defence in the end. Midori, meanwhile, holds on to the last spot inside the top 10. Nicholas Isidro again gaining loads of places in the first race, as he seems to do so often. He certainly did last week at Spa. Again, 11th place, up 5 from him today. He'll be the biggest mover forward in this race, in this first race of the day. But yeah, it's Callaway wins dominantly, and Court just about gets that very important pole position for race 2.
Bringing home here for the Argentine. A little bit of a wounded car, but he won't even bring it home, unfortunately. His time may have expired on that one, wasn't it? I just wonder why he just parked it off there at the moment. There are still some cars out there, but yeah, that's strange.
Shouldn't be a problem that the time is about to run out for, well, indeed it has gone past the 15 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, as soon as he saw the driver in front of him pit in, sorry, get the checkered flag rather. He knew he couldn't get any more places. He just pulled off the side of the circuit. So I don't know why that is. And he might have caused havoc with the iRacing session ending system. I don't know, but
yeah, because everybody's done their lap finished. This is just an out lap.
Yeah.
Currently, there it is.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It finally finishes now. So we can have a look at the race results at the end of race number 1. It is Jaden Callaway who wins by 6 seconds, or over 6 seconds at the end, ahead of Adam Merchant, who still retains the championship lead, of course. Fermin Sanchez finishes 3rd, ahead of Finley Fitzsimmons in 4th position. Elliot Court rounds out the top 5 with Frankie Brzezowski in 6th place. James Turnbull then also missing out on that reverse grid. Elliot Rolls, Sajid Zuhek and Julian Madore getting the top 10 at least. You read the rest on your own. As you can see at the bottom end of the field, a few retirements and a few of those who pitted in at various points throughout that first race of the day. But a big marker laid down by Callaway. As I mentioned, he's got a really big gap to overturn now to make this 3 in a row in the League Zero Super Formula Championship. However, as I say, he started in the best possible way here with a race victory in race 1.
So it's what it's all about at the moment, isn't it? And just quickly have a look at those standings whilst we're in a 5-minute warm-up at the moment. This is the standings, of course, going into this race, so you can kind of do the math on how Jaden has taken a little bit more points. Of course, no Noddy, as we mentioned here this evening, so he won't be able to defend that 161 total points that he has at this point. And perhaps tonight, if Callaway can keep up that strong form he's in, may be able to squeeze himself up into that P2 position, looking stronger for the remaining races that you'd mentioned before that we're heading in Europe.
Yep, it's going to be Barcelona next week, then Zandvoort and Monza the 2 weeks after that. But yeah, just to give you an idea, by the way, on the amount of points that he might have gained there at Callaway, rather depends which way the bonus points will go. Callaway will definitely get the ones for the fastest lap because he stole that away right at the very end. But I think at the very best he will gain 6 points over Adam Merchant in that race. But you know, when you've got an 80-point deficit, that's a long way to go. He will have scored 18 points at maximum there, so that will be a gain on Noddy ML, but and that will be down to 16 points. There you can see the maths there. 16 points at the most. You might be wondering, well, where's Noddy ML's drop week? Unfortunately, he will have already taken it, and it will be very difficult for him to surpass it now because he scored -3 points at Road America. Penalties, you understand, playing a big role in that one. That's how he actually took points away from himself in the championship standings. So he's on 161, and he won't be moving from there. And Callaway will be scoring as many as possible. So 18 already gets him to just 16 behind. You get 16 points or 17 rather, for finishing in 4th place in the feature race. So any top 4 position here, and Callaway will be 2nd place in the championship. But I think the real gap is to Merchant, isn't it? If Noddy ML doesn't turn up to these final few rounds, or at least misses 1 or 2, he's going to lose out to Callaway anyway. So the real gap's to Merchant here. And he's got to focus on the fact that he's taken 6 points out of him in that one, but he's got to take some more in this next race.
And we can't also count out Fitzsimmons as well, too. You know, in that nice battle for P2 position, if they do happen to both steal it away there from Noddy. So Fitzsimmons with some good results here this evening as well, too. Will be looking good there for the Mustard Seed Racing entrance driver, who's out there and did some warm-ups just before. They set the fastest lap during warm-ups too, but that's only a warm-up session. And it's gone back out again, so maybe practicing. I'm just going to see what he's going to be practicing. Yep, there it is. Going to be practicing a start, which is great to see that from the drivers, because how many times have we seen this before over all the years you've been commentating, Ewan? Drivers just making crucial mistakes at the start of the race like that.
You need to get the launch right. It's such a difference, isn't it, compared to sort of sports car and GT racing or whatever else that we cover here on JPB. It's very, very different, the notion of a start. Quite interesting that he's doing this by blocking the pit lane. Obviously, he's checking behind him to make sure that he's not actually preventing anybody from going out on the racetrack. But or maybe they've been instructed to do it from the pit lane. I'm not entirely sure. But
so have a look. So goes over here, chucks it in. You can explain this launch anyway. So he chucks it down into first, low revs, engages the launch control, and it bogs down. You can see a little bit, but that's fine. Just trying to keep that up. He's going to keep practicing this, I think, as well. What's happening is he's towing back the pit lane and then doing it again, which they have the luxury of doing.
It's a bit of an advantage of being in the sim.
Yeah.
Although, you know, in real life, you get the chance to pull and stop again and go for it. Oh, that was
spin.
There you go.
That's what you don't want to do. And he's probably maybe realising
exactly.
We've got him on the screen at the moment too. The warm-up session's finished anyway. That might have just been a bit of showtime for us.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if that's the last one in your system, I know that I personally wouldn't enjoy that, having that as the last one in your system. But anyway, Elliot Cook will take the pole ahead of Finney Fitzsimmons, who will look to get that great launch off of that front row. The all-British front row it is. Then a couple of rows of Americans. Fabian Sanchez, Adam Merchant, Jaden Callaway and Frankie Brzezowski. Those top 5, of course, reversed from race 1. The rest of the field that will scroll through on your screen, absolutely the same as how they finished in race number 1 of the day here at Mugello earlier on today. So even those at the back of the field, maybe apart from Anthony Zeich, who is not yet in the starting grid. Oh no, he has pulled onto the starting grid now. So indeed, everybody will get underway here, which is a great thing for this second race of the day, as Elliot Cook and Billy Fitzsimmons think about how they're going to work their way in towards turn number 1. It's not going to be a British orderly queue, that's for sure. It's going to be a real mess down in towards turn number 1. Although it was a clean start in race number 1, hopefully that remains the same in race number 2 here in a moment. Here we are then at Mugello, second race of the day.
Green, green, green.
Elliot Cook and Billy Fitzsimmons sharing this front row as we go green. It is a good start from Sanchez in behind and a sluggish one from outside the top 5 as well. So the 5 get away. Look at this. Zuhair and Brzezowski and Rolls going nowhere as the top 5 tearing towards turn number 1. It's Fitzsimmons whose practice starts to pay off on the outside line through turn number 1. He's still on the inside there of Court, who chops his nose off through turn 2 and he gets into the lead. Oh, and there's a spin in the background. That's Sazi Zuhair, who's spun from 6th place and he loses a bit of bodywork, or somebody does. He's all got his bodywork still on, but somebody's missing a front wing here, and it's Elliot Rolls who's missing his front wing, and he's got a lot of understeer as a result.
There it is, exactly. Elliot Rolls is going to be, well, unfortunately rolling off the track at the moment to try to let everybody through, because he's going to be scrubbing that speed big time. You need a bit of downforce around here.
It'll be really dangerous. Oh, and it's going to go wrong here off the circuit. And and they all just scattered to avoid. Brings all the gravel onto the grass, which is nice of him, instead of bringing it onto the racetrack. But yeah, that was not ideal at all. And Rolls will have to come into pit lane, as will Saji Zuhair. So clearly those two have made contact, and they'll both be in pit lane at the end of lap 1.
Quick look at the incident.
We're running 6th and 7th as far as I'm aware. It's a spin for Zuhair, and Rolls was really innocent in that.
Yeah, it's busted the front tyre as well too, it looks like. But, they're going to be struggling. Elliot caught in the lead as they start lap 2.
It looks like that wheel failure might have been just graphical, but anyway, they might well both be out the race now, unfortunately. We'll see how long the repairs are for the both of them as Elliot Cook continues to lead. It's Simmons, Merchant, Callaway, the top 4, as Xavier Seneve is off the road further in the background, but this is Callaway. He's in the pack for the first time today, and Seneve hasn't got any damage, so that's good news. In the pack for the first time today, Jaden Callaway. How can he get past Adam Merchant here and take those crucial points away from him here, the championship leader? It's going to be a big battle here, but of course, Court and Fitzsimmons are not going to be easy to push over either.
Let's have a look at Callaway's race launch real quick. He said that exactly about the practice that we saw, we did it from Fitzsimmons. Because he got a good launch, but then... Oh, actually, a little bit of a bog down too, wasn't it? And that's when Elliot Court managed to have the speed. But so this is it. Iffy. We're looking almost 3 wide, isn't it? In turn 1. Wisely, but he just backs off. At least it makes it all safely, doesn't it? You can see Court just has a little bit of a lock-up, and they have that drag race down to turn 2. And that's when Court just decides to shut the door.
It's both of them, Merchant and Callaway, filter through into 3rd and 4th there. So driving from them, and here comes Fitzsimmons in live pictures. He's on the button already here, and he wants to take the lead early on from his compatriot in towards the first corner. Outside line, and they very nearly make contact. Court there just led the racing line slightly to go wide into Fitzsimmons, whether that was by design or whether he just understeered, I'm not sure. There was definite contact, and it was definitely close, but Fitzsimmons can't get the position, and Elliot Court will lead through another lap.
Yeah, Elliot Court must have had a little bit of a bad lap on that lap too, because I'm just having a look at the times. Yeah, well, 26.7, 26.35 from Fitzsimmons. So Fitzsimmons took, almost half a second out of him, which is the reason why I was putting the pressure on him. But he mounted that attack. He showed his cards on the table there, and Elliot Court called his bluff out. So he's going to have to to fold those cards, pick up a new hand there, and see how he can deal another go at this race lead. He's using that push to pass now too. It's cool down. My apologies.
Let's see here as these guys make their way towards the end of lap number 3 of this race. Of course, the top 4 are class above the rest of the field at the moment, as that's been pretty clear since the launch, really. Sanchez was able to go with them, but now he's been strewn off the back as well, as Callaway continues to conserve his push to pass. He's just biding his time for the moment, but if Merchant starts to make moves, you imagine he will as well. A personal best from Fitzsimmons last time round, and he gets closer to Court, but of course he won't be able to use any push to pass on the way towards turn number 1 this time around. He will have to just wait a little bit longer to the next lap, so it will still be cooling down for him. And Callaway, as you can see there, could have used it, didn't decide to. Zeitz is using it to try and get past Toro Mayorga here. Up to 15th place, he now goes in towards turn number 1, and there you go through. Well, he's not quite clear yet. There you go, through up into 15th place. So clean racing at the back, and pleased to say that all but one are still in the race. Saji Zahir unfortunately retired from the race after that crash earlier on, but Elliot Rolls decided to repair his front wing and carry on.
Yeah, why not? It's early days in the race, isn't it? So you don't want to big lift off at the moment. Elected not to go side by side through there for the Frenchman, who's down 4 positions currently from where he started this race. So kept the front part all within half a second of each other. 1, 2, 3 and 4 on Callaway, as you can see in your pictures, and then there's a bit of a gap brewing at the moment from Sanchez. But we saw that before in the Heat 1 race, that Sanchez managed to claw his way back up through the field there and get himself a nice juicy amount of points.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how the rest of this race goes. Still 26 to go, so it's a very long way, and the front 4 seem to be reaching a bit of a stalemate. Callaway the closest to the driver in front now, less than half a second, but miles too far behind for any sort of move down towards turn number 1. Maybe next time, if he's that close, he'll go on the button and try and overtake his championship rival here. Of course, those two, the winners between them of the last 4 titles, all in a row, since the end of Raymond Aguilar's reign through a couple of seasons in a row, season 9 and 10.
Oh,
but seasons 11, 12, 13 and 14 been won by the... Oh, and there off is Bianchi, is that? Yeah, down outside the top 10 now for him.
Yeah. Went a little bit wide, very wide actually on the outside there. That'll allow the Argentine to go through there from the El Milagro racing team. I might have not done too well on that one, but we'll see.
I speak Spanish, so...
Portuguese. Oh no, it's Spanish of course. Oh, sorry about that one.
Wow!
It's Spanish. Oops, I'm going to get in trouble.
Diplomatic incident been caused there, dear me. Anyway, yes, Spanish for the Argentines, of course. Out of the hairpin for turn 12 for Turnbull, and that is in front. Nicholas Isidro again. More places gained from him. Up 4 so far, but not the biggest gain of this race yet. Antonio Bianchi holds that honour, up 7, up to 11th place for him. Of course, he crashed in race 1, so maybe that's a little bit false compared to Isidro, who raced his way into 11th place here, and now he's trying to hold on to that position. And again, the stalemate and the front 4 continues. You wonder how long this is going to last here, and whether it's going to be the case until the pit stops, maybe even longer than that, because the front 4 seem very stuck at the moment.
That's what I'm thinking about the pit stops strategies, to see somebody's going to flip a coin there and do something a little bit different. We said that before in the past. It can pay off quite well. It can also come back and bite you. It's just usually it's who wants to gamble. Well, let's have a look at the Aussie here of McAllister. Just going to see if he can gamble his way past these 2 drivers up the road there. John Zabas there and Julian Mador.
This is all one line. Parry, Bianchi, Madore, Strumback, McAllister in one group, and maybe these guys can show the front guys how it's done in terms of overtaking. One thing is clear: you've absolutely got to use the push to pass to actually make the move, and the hesitancy to use it up front, I think, is playing into the single file nature of the racing we're seeing at the front 4 at the moment. Whereas these guys much more willing to get on the button here and try and use it to make passes. McAllister might not even need to do that actually, as he gets close now through the Biondetti chicane. And Sturmbach will be half defending even into the final turn, something you don't see too often. Sails into that final corner quite quickly, and McAllister will go for the late apex and the cutback line instead. A weaving around dictated right from the very front of this group from Paré, who's got Bianchi right behind him, but he's not on the button. And Sturmbach is trying to keep McAllister behind. You can see how the push to pass is used, not only to make a pass, but also prevent a pass from happening, and there the American does exactly that ahead of Gareth McAllister.
Which is what I love, the push to pass, as I said. Like, I mean, geez, I need that in Formula 1, where somebody's blinking as well, too. They might come in, blinking off.
Oh, no. They all get...
Yeah. That was like a little
be able to,
blink moment, wasn't it?
See a replay of that, really, because...
Disappeared.
I suspect, because he disappeared on our screen, that effectively everybody else disappeared for him. He almost just threw himself off the circuit. Maybe there was a bit of contact, actually, on his screen, and he's, gone straight off the circuit.
That would have been a difficult one to do, because of a driver, of course, you're racing wheel to wheel, and then all of a sudden you're like, where are you? You're not there, and you're appearing into the side there, and that's just the situation, unfortunately, of virtual world racing. Callaway still can't do too much about Merchant. That's going to be interesting with those two drivers. Can't afford to get a collision with him either, can he? Because it'll take them both out. If anything, that would help Merchant more. Oh,
a battle for the
Fitzsimmons.
Just click the wrong button and put it back again. Into the battle for the race lead, Court and Fitzsimmons, and there you go for a bit of push to pass being used to try and make the move, but not quite able to do it on the way towards turn one there.
Oh, that's wide. Oh, Ewan.
These two getting close now, and Fitzsimmons has, now that this pressure has started to ramp up, he's got to make use of this now, because he is burning through his tyres, sitting in the dirt, like this. Oh, and he's going to the inside. It was a late look to the inside through turn 10, but he couldn't do it. And this is difficult now for Fitzsimmons. He's got to try and strike while this is still close.
Got to strike while the iron's hot, as they say. And that's exactly what he needs to be doing. He's putting the pressure right now on Elliott Court, and Elliott Court is making a little bit of mistakes creeping in, and that's exactly what the mental games at play here with the Mustard Seed Racing driver of Fitzsimmons wants to do. But you can see Elliott Court now using a bit of push to pass for defence.
And this is exactly why it's so entertaining to have this push to pass in the series, in the Super Formulas, down the straight. Callaway's closest to making a move in the background this time, as Fitzsimmons struggling to get past. Oh, he was close there, Callaway, and he wasn't even on the button, but he's clearly getting quicker as the race goes on as well. Biding
his time, of course. He knows he's quite capable of being the fastest man out there. He was in Heat 1. The difference now is in the dirty air, of course, of his teammate up the road there, Adam Merchant. But we know that there's no team orders between these drivers. It's going to be go, 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 especially this deep into the championship.
They'll continue on these front four, but Callaway is super close in behind Merchant here, or at least he was. It's Simmons behind Court as well. Just as we were saying, this race needs a bit of life injected into it with a bit of push to pass by one of these guys, and an attempt at a move that seems that they've listened, and they're delivering for us at the moment as Frankie Brzezowski goes off the road through the final sector. Oh, he's had a spin out of turn 11. Must have got on the grass on the outside as he was getting on the power there.
Yep, you called it. And hopefully no damage. Oh, no, too late. There is a bit of damage on the rear wing now.
And towards turn one. Is it close enough this time? Oh, it's switched back. Fitzsimmons there with shown the out. Oh, there's contact.
Oh.
The two compatriots collide. Fitzsimmons and Court take each other off the road. Oh, my goodness me. Fitzsimmons there with a big move to the inside. A switchback move. And they make side-to-side contact, which throws Fitzsimmons into Court, and it looks like he's walking wounded at the moment, does Elliott Court. That car looks damaged to me. It was really whacked as Fitzsimmons spun across the circuit straight into the side of him. A huge moment of drama at the front of this race with just over 20 laps to go. Fitzsimmons and Court collide and they allow the Americans to take 1 and 2.
Well, absolutely amazing, isn't it? These two are going to be back up the front where they want to be, but how did it all start? Well, we'll have to back it up a little bit actually on that one. So, because we kind of got the accident day late, dollar short on that one there, my friend. So I apologise, I don't like doing this too much, but we need to see the action here.
Great move, isn't it, to switch back like that, but then
Contact.
it just sort of drives into Court, I think,
There.
Fitzsimmons. And there's the actual contact that I think has actually damaged Elliott Court, actually. But he switches to the inside. He, I think, phased to the racing line because he thinks that Court is going to open out the corner as much as possible, but he just doesn't. And I think that one might have to go down as Fitzsimmons. Unfortunately, he's actually dropped back to the pit lane now.
Yep.
And that is a shame. Court comes in. He will repair any damage and he'll take his tyres, I'd imagine, for the race as well on lap 10.
I can find him in pit lane as well too. Cameraman decided to go behind the wall, but he is in there somewhere. A couple more drivers coming in as well too, as you can see on the timing tower. It's about the point of the race where you'd expect to see some of those pit stops. Well, you are seeing some of those pit stops, so I presume these drivers have said yes. Ewan, it is time we're heading in.
Well, that's the middle third of the race, so it does make sense. And Elliott Court's case, it's just about integrating that with a bit of damage repair that he might have had to do there. Not sure whether he did actually have to do any, but 11 seconds in the box was a little bit longer. Maybe he did take a little bit more of a repair than I previously thought. But anyway, that has really thinned out the battle for the race lead here, and it is just between those two now. This is Aaron Gosler crouching over the curbs, and that's him.
Ooh.
Whoa, that's very odd.
Yeah.
Very weird spin out of turn 11, that one.
If it was, or is it a technical issue? Something happened there. Just looked like it was... He might have been looking to get out of the way or something like that. Or something. He might have had a cat or a dog or something jump up on your lap or you're in your racing rig. It happens, you know. We don't get to see
Does, yeah.
necessarily, but it startles you as you're trying to concentrate through the high-speed Italian track. Maybe somebody delivered pineapple on his pizza at the door and he's just like, oh! And jumped out of his rig in frustration.
I don't know if any I wouldn't be frustrated if I received one of those, but anyway. Oh dear, that's a late lockup from...
Yeah.
And hopefully he didn't speed on pit lane that time around. Oh, Callaway, off the road. Ben Callaway. Oh, and he's in the wall as well out of turn 5 there. My goodness me. This race has suddenly got a lot more dramatic for the leaders. It's up over the curbs. He's wide, spins around spectacularly. And does he collide with the wall? Oh, he avoids it. Well done, actually. It looks like it looked initially like he definitely hit the wall, but he avoided it. But he is down to third, and he's let his main rival, Adam Merchant, get away with the race lead here.
And now Sanchez up into P2. Still yet to make pit stops, of course. You have to go back to Elliott Court, who took that pit stop earlier on to perhaps repair some of it. It was only a 11-second stationary pit stop, a 40-second pit stop overall. So nothing, any damage he's got on that car, it's not enough. And he is currently at the moment 47 seconds off this man.
Well, this is getting better and better for Adam Merchant, who is wiggling the wheel rather strangely on the way towards turn 1, but he's looking good now at the front of this field, that's for sure. Looking very good indeed. And he will try and extend his championship advantage as a result of the current situation as well. As I mentioned, he might have lost maximum 6 points in that previous race, but even if Callaway finishes second, he can gain 5 of those back again in the feature race. That's the point system and the way that it works here in this series. You've really got to be in the top 15 to benefit from anything really in terms of points. So you do get 1 for finishing the race if you're outside the top 15, but it's only the 1 point. And Callaway now has got to try and get back past Sanchez. Oh, in the background, Gareth McAllister was that. And he's found the wall in a big way as well out of turn 3.
He's had the toe. That's a big one. He caught that one. Oh, no saving that one, my friend.
Well, it's not the... it's starting to happen a little bit more now, actually, where these guys are getting on the power and they're just spinning. coming out off of the curves. This is Madore, a little bit wide. If he'd been a little bit careless with the acceleration there, then he could have been very easily off the road there as well. But starting to get to that phase in the race. This is uncharted territory tonight. We've gone past the 10-lap distance for the first race of the day, and we're now in, of course, past lap 10 in race 2. It's also going wide. And also, one other thing I draw your attention to, track temperature up nearly 43 degrees Celsius down on the circuit. That's got to be affecting these tyres on a very, very hot day at a twisty circuit in the middle of May.
Yeah, there you go. That would make sense, actually, wouldn't it? That track temperature starting to creep in there and cause some big problems. Some of these drivers. That's why you're seeing just in the last 2 to 3 laps incidents from, give or take, about 4 to 5 drivers. I'll put most of the replays on those at the moment, but there you go. Hopefully, but Callaway has the fastest lap on the last lap, P3. Anthony looks like he's had another little moment. Yes, he has too. It's like it's just not having the best of luck. Could be damage from that other moment just before. But he's had a impact with the wall now.
Turn 3. This is almost exactly what McAllister did, but he saved himself from a bigger crash. He just locked up the front tyres to make sure that he didn't hit the wall front on like what McAllister did earlier on. But has brought a few stones back onto the circuit again from the gravel. I must say, after watching practice, I thought this race would be just as bad as Manicourt was for the gravel being brought onto the circuit, but it hasn't been so far, thankfully.
Sanchez makes his way back into pit road. Well, into pit road for the first time. That will drop him. It's horrible cameras in pit lane. My apologies about that. Too many of these buildings. Get rid of these buildings here. For me, please.
They're probably needed, in fairness. So,
when are the rest of them going to come in at the moment? So that we got the top 7 now yet to come down pit road.
It will be top 8 as Snev comes past. Yeah, I think it will be probably this lap or very, very soon. Don't forget, we'll be halfway already in this race. Just in a moment, as Adam Merchant leads them across the line this time round. This will be the halfway mark in the race officially now. And surely for someone like Merchant, who's about to actually get up on quite a lot of traffic here, has already passed one car in the train. They might as well come in now, I think, and start to put those second set of tyres on. Want to sort of spread the tyre wear as evenly as you possibly can throughout the race. And so I think it's probably best to come in this time around, but we'll see as Elliott Rolls catch up to some drivers who look to make a pass on in the next few moments.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And Callaway's been putting some banker laps in too, or just did before. Merchant had matched him on the previous lap, but just to try to bring that gap back down from that 9-second gap that they have now from that incident that you saw before. So that's going to be very interesting. Just pushing the car a little bit too far for himself, isn't it? And unfortunately going off the track.
I think Rolls is going to be exciting to watch in this remainder of the race because of the way he'll come through the field. Just Stunbrush comes in, leaving the top 7 yet to make their pit stop. Can't really see much benefit actually to going on longer than the halfway mark because tyres are only going to be older. But anyway, doesn't seem to be affecting these guys too much, of course. The personal best lap times are still coming in. In fact, Adam Merchant set a personal best last time, so did Turnbull and Bianchi. So it's clearly not holding them back very much.
Yeah, as Ewan will figure out that push to pass. Bianchi gets a slowdown. No, not apologies. No, this man got a slowdown. Road racing. But back up to full speed. Ooh, there's a meatball flag being summons there from John. But it looks like that's because he had a crash. And let's have a look why.
But he's on the front straight, so how's he managed this? He already looks pretty damaged. That front is already damaged.
Yep. So just trying to see.
He hasn't hit something in the pit lane, has he?
I can't tell. This is the only way for us to do this would be to back it up a little bit. Maybe out of the exit.
Oh, he's got on the power and slid straight into the wall.
Yeah. Yep, there it is.
Oh, dear. Oh, he's just caught that corner as well. Oh dear, oh dear.
They steer too well now.
And you can see the tyre hanging off. It's a telltale sign when the wheel doesn't turn anymore. On our graphics, anyway, that's the end of that, and he's left the session. That's the end of his night as Frankie Brzezowski now catches up to Arturo Mayorga, who is in 13th place. Brzezowski, again, one of those drivers on a recovery drive at the moment.
There's a snap of those there. I would be on the team. I'd be on the team radio, wouldn't you? To say, hey, you guys didn't put the wheel on properly, you know.
Pretend it's not your fault.
And just delete the footage of you accidentally hitting the loud pedal coming out of the exit of the pit lane as Elliot rolls. Makes a nice little bat here with
goes
Julian.
Through. Yep. Quite easily there on Julian Midori. And he's still on the button, actually. Here's rolls, so I think he wants both of these positions in one go. Brzezowski's going to get his one position in one go. Oh, and he's chosen the grass! Oh, what's he doing there? There's so much space on the left-hand side. And he chose the grass. He's still on the button here. He's got 3 minutes to... Oh, dear. And these two are not battling in cohesion with each other. This is a pair of drivers who clearly don't race together very often, and they clearly do not understand each other at all, because when one moves one way, the other moves exactly the same way. When Brzezowski tries to move to the right, Mayorga does as well, because he thinks he's getting out the way. Brzezowski thinks he's passing Mayorga normally, and the two just completely are miscommunicating in a way I don't think I've seen for some time. It's almost comical, the way that these two think they're being helpful for their own cause, but they're actually driving each other into a lot of trouble there.
Well, I mean, you put it in that situation, and you got to walk into somebody at the door. Here we go. Set us up the inside. Got to make it stick, son. He will. That's a good pass. Finally gets it done. Remember, he's using that push to pass. That's lots of it too, mind you. I saw it before. There it was almost a full battery. But the situation when you go to walk in to pass somebody, and then they walk straight into you, and then you go to swap, and you walk back into them again, and get a swap, and you walk back into them again, because you're all trying to go left. One's going left, one's going right, you walk into each other. Only that situation. But how is the situation up front? We still have 5 drivers yet to go down pit road. As you mentioned, you really want to wait to the end to go down? Well,
Callaway doesn't.
He's
come in. So 8 seconds was the gap, and he was closing on Merchant actually, but decides that now is the time to make a pit stop. And the long trudge down pit lane for him, down to the 5th last pit box where he started the race. And there's 6, there's 5, there's 4, and there you go. So he stops, and where are the contenders who have already stopped? As you say, Sanchez and Court have already stopped, just under 3 seconds apart for those two. Callaway already back on his way out, though. If he can get ahead of these guys, and he will be comfortably ahead, he's jumped the others. So he's a long way in front of them, and he will have to get up to speed. But Callaway at least has consolidated very comfortably a 2nd place right now.
Well, Elliot Court and Sanchez have passed James, who's in pit road, exiting now. And he should get out ahead of Bianchi, no problems. That's Bianchi's just coming down the main straightaway now. He gets up to speed, no problemo. So now, just 3 more drivers remain to take a pit stop in our feature race with shy of 12 laps to go.
And will Merchant respond?
He
does. That was probably the moment he was waiting for there. Callaway comes in, thinks right now is the time to just cover him off here, and he does exactly that here on lap 19, or the end of lap 18 I should say. Or is it the end of lap 19? It is indeed. That's right the first time. So 11 laps to go at the end of this one, and a new set of tyres now for Adam Merchant, but Callaway is going to be nowhere near him. Just less than 8 seconds will be the gap with just about 11 laps to go. That's going to be... it's going to take quite some catching for Callaway.
Yeah, coming out of the pit lane now is Merchant. There. And Callaway won't even see him into turn 1. There's Callaway now. Just won't see him in the distance. As you'd mentioned, 8-second lap gap between them. Practically similar, exactly the same as they entered. Although Callaway's pit stop for showing me is a 6.6 second stationary pit stop. Merchant's was a 7.72.
Slight difference between the two of them, but doesn't seem to be reflected really Of course, he will gain a bit of time now as Merchant gets back up to speed, so he will dip below 8 seconds, but you'd imagine that gap will be enough now for Merchant to keep the lead all the way to the end. Jace Meyer and Elliot Rolls, meantime, battle away for the 9th position. Just over 2 minutes of push to pass remaining here for Elliot Rolls, and he's kept plenty of that back for the finale of this race, and I suspect that a lot of these drivers have been doing. There's going to be a lot of drivers just draining this one out at the end of the feature race, much like you see often in the sprint race. It seems to have led over into the longer race here tonight.
Slow down here as well too for the Frenchman. It's a little off-track excursion earlier, but looks good. Well, showing that showdown flag, but we'll see. It's hard to tell on some of the circuit, but Merchant burning the push to pass button. It's got 132 seconds. We might tell them that they're listening on the stream. Ooh,
Who's
really
that on
low
the
sprint space?
Was that Gosler getting out of his way, giving him a big slipstream all the way down towards turn 1, and then getting out the way at turn 1 as well. I think that's probably the most ideal situation possible for a driver in that scenario for Adam Merchant there. Get the big slipstream and then get the driver out the way by the corner.
Absolutely hammering at the moment. Wants to keep that gap over Callaway here. We'll see if Callaway's responds to any of this push to pass soon, so that we got a little spy in on that steering wheel, get an idea of what they have left. And how fucking Nicholas
I'm not sure he's going to be using any for a little while, so we'll see. The gap's definitely closing, and that mistake I think is going to come back to really haunt Callaway here. I think he had the pace to win both races here tonight, especially once Court and Fitzsimmons had taken each other off the road down at turn number 1. The race was really between Merchant and Callaway, but that one spin out of turn 3 has cost Callaway everything here, and he's clearly got the speed to win this race, but that spin has put him far too far behind.
Yeah, he needs to get at least close enough to try to put pressure on Merchant, who can handle that pressure quite well, but there's nothing like having a car in the background that you're going to be focusing on to break your concentration. As Nicholas finally, still looking for a team, heads into pit road. I think he's in a team. He's in a car, so you must have a team somewhere out there, my friend.
He's going to be out 5th by the looks of it. So another great drive from Isidro to get up to a big position by the end of the day. It's up 6 places in this second race. Antonio Bianchi is up 11 though, so won't be the biggest gainer of the day. Bianchi has managed that, but it's another good drive from Isidro as Elliot Rolls comes into pit lane as well. He's already been in. Oh no, sorry, it's the angle. He does have a front wing still. Oh, and he overshoots his box. There you go, adding insult to injury.
Now, what can Callaway do here? Apart from just... 9 laps remaining. Second a lap. Should be fine.
I think 8 laps to go. Can lose nearly a second a lap and still win from here, as Callaway's going to get the same treatment, it looks like, from Gosler. He's done pretty much the ideal scenario for a lapped driver here. He's going to give Callaway the slipstream, and that's going to be the best lap of the race so far. Is he going to get out of the way for turn 1 though, as they come in here? He is going to... he's on the racing line, and Gosler now goes wide, so that won't be too much of a delay, but he did give the big slipstream towards turn 1, so it probably evens out.
That was the fastest lap without what appears to be push to pass used as well too, so that slipstream from both the drivers earlier there from Merchant would have helped. So it'll be interesting to see. And just to quickly go back at the replay, this might be the very reason, once again, that Callaway might have thrown away this race win here in this situation. Right there. That we saw. He's going to love us showing that.
Going to haunt him, that one.
Yes.
He had the pace to win here, and it's just a slight mistake. It's the sausage curbs around this circuit that we haven't actually spoken about here so far tonight, but they are a big factor in this circuit. They've been taken out actually of this chicane where they were in real life, but they are in places here, and if you if you catch them in a super formula, it's going to really upset the car and it's going to send you sliding. It was still savable for Callaway, but he was too eager to get on the power there. I think if he had his time again, he'd be a little bit more patient and waited. But that is racing. You don't get to do it all over again. Merchant hasn't made a mistake in this race so far. That's why he is leading by the amount that he is.
I never noticed in the halo they have a little gap there, just above where the camera goes. Little air to flow for. It wouldn't be much air, wouldn't it, to focus through from the driver's helmet, but it's kind of strange why they had that.
That's for
super formulas. They don't have that. And don't see that in many other racing leagues that have the open cockpit halos. Some in the chat, but it's not.
I wonder what that's for. I'm not entirely sure. It feels to me like that's cut a hole for exactly the kind of debris that the halo is supposed to be blocking, coming in and straight hitting the driver in the face. But anyway, I don't. There's probably a good scientific reason for it that I just don't know. But yeah, I'd never noticed it either before. Actually, it's clear to see though when you ride on board, as we were with Merchant there, who's on the button here. This might be a best lap of the race. He's got a minute 40 or so to go, about half of the push to pass remaining, and down towards the start finish line again. Will this be a fastest lap? Bonus points available here, so this is what Merchant and Callaway are going to spend most of the rest of the race battling over. Oh, and it wasn't fastest lap of the race that time for Merchant, but he was trying to get it.
And Callaway's lap, no, actually a bit slower. Callaway at 24.87, 24.7 on the dial there for Merchant. Sanchez in the 25s. Elliott caught the 25. So only those two drivers basically at the moment leading this race, just in a league of their own.
Now further behind, Turnbull has caught up to Isidro. They are the closest two over the start-finish line at the moment. You can see he's been on the button recently as Turnbull, as he's closing in now on Isidro for the race 5th position. It's top 5 place at the moment between these two. It's the top 5 has been vacated by a few contenders earlier on in the day. Fitzsimmons unfortunately out of the race after his crash on the way towards turn number 1 earlier. It's allowed these two to fight over a position that they might not have otherwise been able to get, but Turnbull looks quicker, and he's going to have 5.5 laps or so from where they are right now to work his way past.
The colours of Benetton looking for team here of Nicholas. Bernie Eccleston's old team, isn't it?
Oh, don't ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. It's certainly a recognisable livery in the field, which is a good thing. Although the purple nose of Turnbull's quite distinctive as well to look at. So both of them quite helpful. But in a group like this, we know exactly who they are. And with less than 2 minutes of the button remaining, Turnbull gets on it here, and he's going to roar past at this speed. On the way towards turn number 1, he is very close in behind, and he's going to just get straight past in towards turn number 1. Outside line though, Isidro still there, and Turnbull has to give the room, so these two will continue to fight into the racetrack proper. Outside for Isidro gives him the inside at turn 3, and he does keep the place, so able to put up a relatively big fight in the end.
Easily, there's the Bennett on the back as well, and you have to go down the nose cam to see it. Don't think you can see it from the cockpit unless you're close enough. There we go, that is the closest battle that you see it currently on your pitches. Thank you everybody for tuning in as well too, and the drivers obviously for re-watching this one back after they get out of the cockpits. Ooh, that's wide. That's too wide.
Oh no,
That's off.
Oh, he's back on. I thought he was going to find the wall actually, but it's just a brief moment wide from Isidro, and that will be easy for Turnbull to get the place. Now, how did he manage this? From the angle that I saw, as he was bobbling over the curb and then over the hill, I thought he was definitely going straight off, but actually it wasn't quite as big of a moment when you look at it from that angle, or indeed from on board, but still pretty big. It's definitely cost him that position, of course, as well.
A good save too. If he just would have yanked that steering wheel a little bit too much to the left and to the right, that would have been going around as Adam Merchant, that's a little bit of a slowdown too. It's popping up on my screen there, a little yellow flag popped up next to his name that he's pushing. He just at the fastest lap before 2. 24.31 now, the times are tumbling down. Will they get to the 23s? Possibly. 4 laps to go.
I think that would need push to pass, and I think he's used most of it to get that lap time there. I think he's really been pushing for this fastest lap point here, and Callaway's just been backing off in the last few moments. I wonder whether he's going to now go for it in these final 3 laps, or give it a real go at next lap. You can see that the gap is now 8.5 seconds, and he's got a bit of traffic in front, so this might be the opportunity now. Get a bit of push to pass out the final corner, get a bit of slipstream down towards turn number 1, and start off your lap well here for Jaden Callaway. Let's see if he does that as he now comes out of the final corner. Is he going to use any of the button? No, he's not. He's going to stay where he is for the moment as he gets into the draft. Over the line, I think he'll have gained on Merchant.
Yeah,
he certainly did. Big time as well as the lap car gets out of the way. So that's 25.0 from him last time round. Sorry, 25.7. It's the wrong way round. Sorry, Merchant was. I've got that the wrong way round. Merchant was quicker, of course, by 7 tenths of a second ahead of Callaway. Apologies. Yeah, got that the wrong way round. But I think Callaway's just taking it easy for a couple of laps here, getting him, cooling the tyres a little bit. And I think he will really push for the fastest lap on either 29 or 30.
We can flip around for you. There. Oh, no. We're going to go that way. Sorry, I thought it was that way. Okay. Oh, that's a little off-track excursion.
No, it's all right. Just I've got to read it. Whatever table you put up properly, it doesn't matter what you put up. I've got to read it properly. that's the main thing. But there we go. Merchant did gain, and he's going to gain some more time on this lap as well. Callaway's definitely backing away. There you can see it. There's the difference. There's 2 tenths in that last sector there. So and a very strong one from Merchant, or from Callaway rather, that it was. But see here as he now comes up towards the start finish line. Is he going to be on the button this time around? No, still not. So still backing away, and he's actually losing time behind. But there's no other reason for him surely now to be backing away other than to give it a real go for the fastest lap on the last lap. Of course, the last lap in the last race was when he took the fastest lap of race 1 as well.
Yeah, that's what it'll be now. The bragging rights for the fastest lap between these two. That is surely the quickest out there in the 24 club. You can see that Callaway had set the fastest first sector just to try to pump out the quickest lap. So let's see whether or not it's going to be a good lap currently at the moment from Callaway. And it is quick for sector 1. Not using that push to pass left either. We don't know how much is left.
No, well, not for the moment. I reckon he's got a full lap of it though, if I were to guess. And I think he can put it on out of the final corner here for the final time and just push from start to finish on this last lap, whereas Merchant has sort of used his opportunity here, unless he's backed up in these last couple of laps as well, to try and get the gap. It's the thing about having such a big gap behind here, and these two being the class of the field in this race, as far as staying out of trouble goes, especially in Merchant's case, and actually pace as well. Look at this, nearly 3 minutes. Callaway out of the final corner, swings wide, late apex. Here we go. This could be the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, we'll stay with him for now. Because unless Merchant makes any crazy mistakes at the front there, he's got this race win in. But we'll take it on board here.
I'd argue that Callaway earlier in the race should have used his push to pass a bit more smartly, because for this 1 minute and a half lap, he's got 3 minutes of push to pass remaining. Yeah. So he really should have been using that earlier on in the day. But anyway, that's too far in the past now, too far in the past to worry about for now, as he comes now to the scene of the crime that has seen him denied a double victory here tonight in the eyes of many, certainly the eyes of me. And that was quite a cut on the inside as well. He needs to avoid an off track, of course. First sector though, very, very strong from Callaway. First sector this time round was a 30.6, and that's the fastest of the day so far. 3 tenths quicker than Merchant's best first sector of the day, but that's not necessarily the sector he set on his best lap of the race, it's worth remembering. Now he comes through the left-hander at turn 11 before 12, and out front Adam Merchant will come through the final corner, and he will come through to take another victory in this series. 14 starts and now 6 victories for Adam Merchant, the latest of them in the feature race at Mugello. He weaves across the line to finish this race. How many of those points does he gain back on Jaden Callaway at the end of the day? This has got a lot riding on it at the moment. 2 personal best sectors so far. What about the final one? Is it enough? It certainly is. It's a 23.9. I doubted your comment earlier that we were going to see a 23 tonight. We have seen one. Jaden Callaway gets one on the very last lap of the race, and he does make sure that he at least gains some points tonight on Adam Merchant, if not very many.
And you know, imagine what if he would have done that a little bit earlier. He's got to get that two of those absolutely blisteringly quick laps as well too, because he's still got half a battery left. But it is what it is. He managed to get the bragging right of that one, and yep, I told you, 23s were possible.
It turns out they certainly were, and yet not even using that push to pass for the whole of one other lap, but actually earlier on in the race, maybe using it 6 or 7 smaller periods of time, and still having that lap back at the end of the race would have been possible for Callaway. And at times in that race, even after the spin, the race was hanging in the balance, and the fact he didn't use the push to pass there might mean he missed an opportunity tonight to even overturn that disadvantage. But either way. Yeah. That will have to remain unknown forever, because Adam Merchant has taken victory. He used pretty much all of his push to pass. He's got less than 10 seconds of it remaining, as you can see by that flashing red light at the top of his head. But it's another victory, and he's got out of today with minimal damage to Jaden Callaway, and a bigger championship lead as well, because Nadia Mel, of course, was not here.
Brilliant drive. Absolutely. As we'll pull up our results for our feature race.
Absolutely. It's Adam Merchant who takes victory. 9 seconds at the line, just about under 10. Jaden Callaway second ahead of Fabian Sanchez with Elliot Cut in that battle. He'd run out of laps rather as well, did Elliot, to get back on the podium. James Turnbull round out the top 5 ahead of Nicholas Isidro, again gaining places today, but not as many as Antonio Bianchi, who gained 11 to get up to 7th. Guillermo Paré, James Meyer and Julian Madoy round out the top 10. Xavier Sine, Frankie Brzezowski and Elliot Rolls and Otoro Mayorga running up those who score additional points above those for who get the 1 point for finishing. That will go to Aaron Gosler and Anthony Zeitz, 1 lap down. John Stumbras, Gareth McAllister, Finney Fitzsimmons and Stacey Zuhair will not get any points because they did not finish the race in the second race anyway at Mugello. Well, a potentially championship-defining day and a potentially championship-defining spin there. Callaway had the chance tonight to turn the momentum in his favour with a double victory. That has not gone his way, but he will gain a very small amount of points on Adam Merchant, who gets out of Mugello unscathed and sets up for the final 3 weeks in pole position as far as this championship is concerned.
And heading over to those, I'm just distracted by something else at the moment, but yeah. Whoops, not the standings, of course, the schedule's what I wanted. I'm getting a little clumsy at the end of this racing here in Italy, my friend, because the pizza just turned up with pineapple on it.
Getting distracted. Yeah, that's the schedule. It's really noticeable, isn't it, actually, at this part of the season? Mugello, Barcelona, Zandvoort. Those are all very similar circuits in so many ways, so many twisty circuits. And, if the characteristics of this one suited Callaway, and that was the reason why, and it wasn't down to any number of other things, which it probably was. But, there's some very similar style circuits coming up in the next 2 weeks at Barcelona and Zandvoort.
Absolutely. I'll be looking forward to that as well too, Ewan. So that'll be it for another fantastic racing evening, wherever you are in the world, of our League Zero Formula Series season. What are we in? Season 11 now.
Season 15.
15.
I think yeah.
15.
That says 14 at the top there, but we already have a 14 champion, which is, of course, Jaden Callaway from the 10 previous rounds. But, I think that wasn't updated. You can see the logo itself on the top left says Season 15, which, of course, it is for the League Zero Super Formula Series. But, what a season we're having. And we'll be back again next week for the third last instalment of it, Round 9, coming to you from Barcelona in just a week's time. I very much hope you can join us then. Doesn't look like any of the drivers are going to join us for a chat tonight, so we'll have to go without that here tonight. But either way, I've been Ian O'Leary alongside Team Biggles until we're back again in 1 week's time at Barcelona for the third last round of the season. It is goodbye for now.